so much for staying with us. Governor Ayodele Fayoshe's media aide has been talking to us about alleged travel ban imposed on him and another governor. Whether it's an allegation, it's not clear. You've not told me exactly how the governor got a wind of the travel ban. Has it traveled and it's been stopped?
Well, he has not traveled. Like 2 weeks ago, we got this information from, like I think 2-3 weeks ago, we got this information from a kind of a source that I'm not going to be disclosing here. The governor is also a security officer. He has a way of also getting classified information.
Security information.
And we felt that, well, let us see how it goes. All of a sudden, we saw a report in 2 national newspapers on May 29 this year that 2 governors, one from the southwest, one from the south-south. And we waited for like 24 hours for the federal government to debunk the story. Nothing was heard from them, and if you felt that this DSS, how can anyone now conceive an idea that a sitting governor that enjoys immunity by virtue of Section 308, even an ordinary Nigerian cannot be compelled to seek clearance from DSS to travel out of this country by virtue of Section 39, Section 41 of the Constitution of this country, by virtue of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
But what is interesting is that the governor has not made attempt to travel and he's been stopped.
We are not going to wait until the governor makes an attempt. You see, if the governor make an attempt today and he's stopped, one, he enjoys immunity, he cannot be arrested. And if the governor decides to say, okay, I'll force my way to travel, what happens? Anarchy. So we are trying to prevent a state of anarchy in this country.
By confirming the story, because you've got to confirm, it's got to be stopped first before we know. Because it's an allegation.
We don't want him to. We want Nigerians to know that there is a plan to stop him. If eventually he stopped, Nigeria will have been put on notice.
Because it's interesting. I've invited you to talk about the PDP, but yesterday was when you and some other lawmakers went to Abuja to petition the NHRC. But let's get some legal perspective to this matter. Thankful that we have a lawyer talking to us from our Abuja studio. If a travel ban is imposed on a governor, for example, because of security reasons, what are the conditions that could be looked into, or what could have caused a travel ban on a governor, a sitting governor in Nigeria? What does the law say about this?
Well, thank you. First of all, I do not know whether or not this assertion is genuine from the part of the government that they intend to impose a travel ban on a sitting governor. But if it is so, then that act is unconstitutional. That act is illegal. First of all, the provision of the Constitution in Section 41 is clear that every Nigerian has a freedom to move to any part of the country, and that no Nigerian, no citizen of the country will be stopped from traveling abroad or from entering Nigeria. Now, even when you look down some of the provisos there, you will see the only condition on which a movement can be restricted is where, for example, someone has committed an offense and is trying to evade arrest, or somebody is about to commit an offense, he wants to travel to go and commit an offense, and that will be the basis on which the agencies of government will arrest that person. But in this case, it goes beyond just a citizen. In this case, it is a citizen who is also covered by Section 308 of the Constitution, a sitting governor, who is by law elected by the people to represent their interests. And so whenever a governor moves to any part of the country or a part of the world, it is believed in his official capacity his movement is for the interest of his people. So if you make any effort as a government to restrict his movement, then what you are invariably doing is that you are restricting the movement that will bring prosperity and good governance to the people. And that will be a fundamental breach of the Constitution. Now, Section 308 is clear that the governor is immune from criminal prosecution, and in the same vein is immune from arrest. Because if you look at the combined reading of Section 41 and Section 308, what it means is that if you want to restrict the movement of someone, you have to arrest that person. And then can you arrest a sitting governor? You cannot, because of the provision of the law.
But
if
again,
you say the law is bad,
Mr.
then you have to go and change it. But unfortunately...
But if the government feels that for security reasons or certain personalities under immunity poses a security threat to the state, can they not impose a travel ban on such a person?
Right. Security reason is not a word you say in limbo. You have to support that security reason by cogent and compelling evidence. That means there should have been a report, there should have been a publication, or there is a communication that such individual is going to pose a threat to the nation. Now, the question you ask yourself is, a sitting governor, what security threat is a sitting governor going to cause to the nation? Now, let's assume that such a thing exists. For them to be able to, even when that happens, let's assume that exists, still the government is incapacitated to impose a travel ban because of the provision of the law. What the government can only do is to go to court and seek interpretation. But in this case, it's a rumor, that's what we believe, that they want to impose travel ban, that if the individuals want to travel, they will have to seek clearance. It is not written anywhere in our law.
All right.
If you look at the case of Director of State Security Service and Abakuba.
So let's round up our thoughts. But what is on the ground? We've seen the lawmakers in Ekiti they've taken a swift move into some agencies. Could they have been doing this without a cogent and a substantial evidence of the travel ban?
Well, you don't need any evidence to believe whatever that is coming from this government. Because the government does not even deem it has never been ready to explain anything to Nigerians. And when you are dealing with President Buhari, who was head of state in 1984, and travel ban was placed on Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Travel ban was placed on the late Ooni of Ife. Travel ban was placed on the late Emir of Kano, Ado Bayero. Travel ban was placed on the late Obi of Onitsha. It happened before.
But you know there were cases of investigation after the Shagari government.
The only reason they paid...
And it was a temporary travel ban, isn't it?
It was temporary, and this one could also be temporary. So we are saying that we have seen this person before. He has also been governing Nigeria the way he governed Nigeria before. So nothing can be taken off this government. If they say, the other time, the DSS was going to schools attended by House of Assembly members in Ekiti. They were investigating the academic records. And you want to ask yourself, what is the business of DSS with academic records of lawmakers in Ekiti?
Thank you so much, Mr. Lere Olayinka. Always a pleasure having you on the program. And it was interesting that your governor, for the first time in all of his criticism of government, came out to applaud President Buhari. It was interesting, isn't it?
That is what the man ought to have done.
All right, many thanks for coming on the program. Mr. Daniel Buala, thank you so much for talking to us. Always a pleasure having you on the program. And many thanks also my very good guest, companion on the program, my viewers. Many thanks for being such a great company. On behalf of the team here at Channels Television headquarters in Lagos, I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.